Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining me today. As you know, David has asked us to evaluate the strength of our current curriculum and identify areas of improvement. He also wants us to come up with the recommendations to enhance the overall development and implementation of our curriculum. We'll be discussing key strengths, identifying strategies to access the curriculum, and setting improved goals.
Sounds like a good plan. I'm ready to dive in.
Great. Let's begin by outlining some of the core strengths of a good curriculum. From my perspective, a strong curriculum must always be evolving to adapt to the changes needed of the children. It should address the individual needs for all learners, involve effort from all stakeholders, and provide detailed information about subjects and activity. Importantly, it must also be flexible, encouraged to interact changes when necessary. What strengths have you observed in our curriculum, Mr. Varan?
I have noticed that our curriculum is quite flexible, which is great. We often make adjustments based on the needs of the children, whether that's changing activities or introducing new resources that resonate better with them.
What about your thoughts, Miss Grace? Great. What Miss Grace has thought that she also thinks our curriculum is strong in a way it addresses individual needs. She says that we can make a point of tailoring learning experience, whether through differentiated instructions or adapting activities to suit different learning styles. Those are excellent points. Flexibility and adaptability are crucial, and it's great that we already improve incorporating those elements. Now, let's talk about the strategies we can use to identify these strengths more effectively. For example, evaluating learning activities against set goals, conducting surveys for learner feedbacks, having discussion with colleagues, and critically reviewing the curriculum itself can provide valuable insights. What do you think? What do you think we're doing with these strategies?
We do evaluate activities quite regularly, but I think we could improve by formalizing our feedback processes from children. Surveys or simple feedback sessions could give us a clear picture of what's working and what's not.
That's a great suggestion. Regular peer discussions and structured feedbacks from children would definitely enhance our curriculum evaluation process. Let's also consider some tips to set up improved curriculum goals. Let's also consider some tips to set and improve our curriculum goals. We could focus on regularly reviewing the action plan, planning strategically for a long term, setting specific timelines, and identifying obstacles to achieving these goals. Additionally, involving parents and understanding the learners' capabilities should be key except for our strategies. What are your thoughts on implementing these improvements?
I think setting clear timelines for curriculum reviews would help us to stay on track. It's easy for these things to get pushed inside in day by day rush, but having set dates could ensure we are regularly checking on our progress.
What are your thoughts on this, Ms. Grace? Great, thank you very much. What Ms. Grace has suggested that including parents is crucial. They have valuable insights about the children's needs and learning style. We could start by sending brief questionnaires or hosting periodic meetings to gather their input. Well, that's all a great point. Setting timelines will definitely help us accountable, and parents' involvement can provide a more holistic view of our curriculum impact the children outside the classroom. Lastly, I think clearly outlining the roles of educators in curriculum development and implementation is also important. This will help us all understand our responsibilities and contribution. Does anyone have additional recommendations or thought on how we can better define these roles?
Maybe we could draft a guide or check a list that outlines each steps of the curriculum, development and who's responsible for what. This could include planning, implementation, assessment, and revision. It would keep us stay organized and make sure nothing falls through the cracks.
I like the idea of checklist. That will make our roles clear and keep everyone aligned with our goals. To summarize, we identified the strength of our curriculum as being flexible, adaptable, and responsive to individual needs. To further improve, we'll focus on normalizing feedback process, setting clear timelines involving parents, understanding learner capabilities, and clearly defining educators' role. This approach would help us develop a more robust and effective curriculum. Well, thank you all for your input. Has been a productive session. I'll compile my findings and recommendation into a report for you, David, and thanks a lot for your contribution.